What's going on, guys? Krusty K's here from the Gold Boys Network, coming with the MLB slate preview for August 6th. Before we hop into this one, I want to remind everybody you get all these odds at FanDuel Sportsbook. Let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right into the slate. First one, the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the Guardians. Eduardo Rodriguez versus Ben Lively. So Eduardo Rodriguez coming back from injury. You guys might have known him from the Tigers. Lefty. Not a big strikeout guy. He pitched for Boston for a little while too. This is a guy who, in my opinion, when he's on, I think he can pitch pretty well, and I think he has a lot of success. His first start back in the bigs, obviously had a pretty lengthy rehab assignment. I'm going to be on the Guardians here at a -110, simply because I just think there's going to be a little bit of rust here, and this Cleveland team is not the team that you want to make your first start against of the season, in my opinion. This team's hot right now. We all know that, putting bat to ball. And I think this is a rough outing for Rodriguez. I think Lively can do enough to get us, at least 5 innings here, and they can turn it over to that bullpen that's been pretty good all season. So give me the Guardians on the money line. The next one, the Cincinnati Reds taking on the Marlins. This is Nick Lodolo versus Max Meyer. So for me here, oddly enough, I'm going to be on the Marlins on the money line here. It's a bit of a gross play, obviously, because you're backing a team that really doesn't have a lot. But for me, I just like Max Meyer's stuff, and I think he pitches really well against this Reds lineup. So I like him here. Lodolo's a guy who's been a bit hit or miss for me. I've been spending a lot of time, especially with 2 strikes, kind of like funneling sinkers or fastballs over the middle of the plate, and been getting tagged because of it. If you've been paying attention, his strikeout stuff's down a bit, and it's really because, like I said, in those 2 strike counts, he just seems to be content with putting the ball over the plate and letting them put it in play. So for me, I have a hard time backing that. I've watched it his last couple starts, and it's frustrated the hell out of me. And I like the value here on the Marlins. I think Max Meyer pitches really well. Give me the Marlins on the money line, plus money. Our next one, the San Diego Padres taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Dylan Cease versus Bailey Falter. So this price honestly scared me. You get the Dylan Cease Padres at a -165 on the money line. I know they're on the road, but -165 on the money line against Bailey Falter. It feels like one of the trappiest lines in the world. I feel like it's going to be a very public play because it's really not that far off of playable. But that's where I'm going to go. Padres on the money line. If you want to do like a player performance level with Cease, I think 6 or 7 Ks in that money line. I think it's a great play. I really don't see what goes wrong here. This guy has been dominant. Even when people wanted to fade him off of the no-hitter, he still looked pretty against the Dodgers, truthfully. Obviously a tougher lineup that he's going to see here. I just like the Padres and Dylan Cease to get this one done against Bailey Falter, who in my opinion is, borderline a certified turkey tosser. Our next one, the Giants taking on the Nationals. Hayden Birdsong versus Mackenzie Gore. It's going to be the Giants for me here, simply because I just think Birdsong is the guy this Washington team hasn't seen yet. I think he pitches really well. We've seen him in the majors, obviously, for I believe 5 or 6 starts now. He's looked really good. His stuff looks good. He's proving to everybody that he can pitch up here. And I think that continues against this Washington team who, in my opinion, doesn't have the bats to really do the damage. Obviously, he's been a bit worse against lefties in his career, like minor league-wise. Hasn't seen as, drastic of splits in the majors. So, they do have some good lefties on this team. So if you want to target some hitters from Washington, I'd say that, C.J. Abrams or James Wood could definitely be in play. But ultimately, I like the Giants to get the win here against Gore, who's just really been scuffling. Our next one, the Los Angeles Angels taking on the New York Yankees. Davis Daniel versus Luis Gil. It's going to be the Yankees -1.5 here. Super chalky. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be on it because it's the Yankees. Everybody loves to back the Yankees. But Luis Gil has looked really good to me. They seem to have figured out whatever the issue was earlier in the season, and this guy's just dealing. And now you get an Angels team who's below league average against righties. I think he has his way with this lineup. Even if Davis Daniel pitches relatively well, which I don't expect him to, he's a bit of a finesse guy, doesn't throw a lot of high velo, and I think this Yankees team kind of tees off. So I wouldn't be surprised if they cover their team total. I love the Yankees -1.5. I think they win this one in a big way. Our next one, the Baltimore Orioles taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. This is Grayson Rodriguez versus Chris Bassett. I'm a big G-Rod guy, despite how many times he's burned me. And my only issue with this game, truthfully, is backing Baltimore on the road. But I just don't see anywhere else to go here. That was what I looked at first. And like I said, as much as I hate backing their bats on the road, I just don't see how Bassett finds success against this team. This is a team that's hit him hard already this season, and I think they're going to hit him hard here again. So give me the Orioles on the money line at a -150. Our next one, the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Braves. Colin Ria versus Bryce Elder. Braves at a minus 150 on the money line. That's exactly where I'm going to go. So, I mean, I like the over here as well. I do think we see a lot of runs, but I do like the Braves just a little bit more. So these guys obviously just saw these teams close proximity start, which is why I like the over. You tend to see runs, especially against guys like this who don't necessarily blow guys away. But Elder really pitched well in his last start. I think he pitches really well here once again, especially at home. This Brewers team, the offense has not been nearly as consistent away from Miller Park, and I think we see that here. I think it ends up looming large in the in the big scheme of things. Like I said, Braves on the money line. I like the over. I think we see this thing like 6-3, something like that.
Wait, before we get back to the picks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. Friends don't let friends watch videos without hitting the like button. So go ahead and press the thumbs up button and like the video. If you're new here and not subscribed, you should go ahead and do so because we're dropping new content each and every day on the Gold Boys Network. We strive to cover every sport and give out picks and analysis and valuable information for free on the Gold Boys Network. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop something new. I'm Brad Thomas. Let's get back to the picks.
Our next one, the Tampa Bay Rays taking on the Cardinals. Jeffrey Springs versus Sonny Gray. It's going to be the nerfy for me here. No runs in the first inning. We haven't played a lot of them this season. I know a lot of people back Jeffrey Springs in his first start of the season with the nerfy, and he cost everyone. I'm going back to it here. I like this spot. I like him against the top three in this lineup. So give me the no runs in the first inning here. I do think that the Cardinals win this game. Sonny Gray is kind of frustrating me here, but he has been way better at home. So if you're going to back the Cardinals, it's definitely a spot to back them because you got Sonny Gray at home where he's been outstanding against the Rays team who's been much worse away from the Trop. Our next one, the Houston Astros taking on Texas Rangers. Framber Valdez versus Tyler Mahle. I absolutely love Tyler Mahle. This is a guy who I backed a ton prior to his injuries. Making his first start of the season here, not really sure what to expect. His rehab starts were kind of a mixed bag. Makes it really incredibly tough to back him in this spot. So for that reason, I'm going to be on the Astros. Similar to what I talked about with Eduardo Rodriguez, I think it's just a big ask against this Astros team to come out here first start of the season. Going to be a little bit of rust, and for me, I think he struggles. I don't love Framber, I'm gonna be honest with you, but I think he does well enough against this Texas team who overall has really struggled versus lefties this season, and I think the Astros do get the win here. Our next one, the Minnesota Twins taking on Chicago Cubs. Pablo Lopez versus Shota Imanaga. It's actually going to be the Twins for me here on the money line. Plus money on the road. I just want to fade Shota. Shota has been on a stretch of some really good starts. Everybody says he's back, and believe me, he's looked really good. But this is the Twins team who we've all seen been crushing the baseball this season. They're actually struggling against Kyle Hendricks right now, which I think is hilarious. But all the more reason for me to feel like the bats are going to wake up here against Shota. I like Pablo Lopez, too, in the spot. He gets a Cubs team who just really isn't hitting right now, especially against righties. WRC plus around 75. Just a great spot for him to pitch well, be aggressive, and use his fastball to his advantage as it's a pitch that the Cubs have really struggled against this season. So give me the Twins on the money line here. Our next one, the Boston Red Sox taking on the Kansas City Royals. This is Brian Bayo versus Seth Lugo. I'm going to be on the Red Sox here on the road. Bayo has really impressed me. I don't know if they alter his pitch mix or what, but swinging strike has been up considerably, and he's been pitching really well. So I like him here against this Royals team who does put the ball in play pretty early. I think Bayo goes deep. I like his pitching outs right away. That's the first thing I would definitely look at here. Anything up to 6 innings. Really think Bayo pitches well. On the flip side, Seth Lugo, the K stuff's been down, so I know a lot of people like to assimilate Ks with pitching well, which it's not always the case. But for me here, I just think against this Boston team, he struggles. This is a team that's hitting righties really well. They have a ton of lefties in this lineup who can do some damage. And I like I like the value here, plus money on the road. I just don't necessarily think that Lugo is a minus 150 money line type guy, even at home. So give me Brian Bayo here and give me the Red Sox. Our next one, the New York Mets taking on the Colorado Rockies. Luis Severino versus Kyle Freeland. I like the Mets team total over. I'm going to isolate it to that. I think Freeland gets tagged here. That's really what I was looking at. I originally was going to look at the over, but I kind of feel like Severino can pitch well in this spot. Obviously, he's a guy who gets a lot of ground balls, and that's really the way you find success at Coors, is keeping the ball in the ballpark. So I do lean over for the game at 10.5, but I like to isolate it to the Mets team total here. I think Freeland gets touched up. If it goes over, maybe Severino gives up a few, but I'm concerned that he's going to pitch well, and it would cost us on the 10.5. So I'll go with the Mets team total over here. Our next one, the Chicago White Sox taking on the Oakland Athletics. Jonathan Cannon versus Ross Stripling. So Oakland minus 175, the money line with Ross Stripling is absolutely hilarious. I mean, obviously it's the White Sox, so I get it. I'm going to go with the White Sox in the first 5 on the money line. Jonathan Cannon's been really good for this team if you've been watching. Just coming off a very impressive 7-inning start. I like him to pitch well here. I mean, do the White Sox lose the game? Probably. They haven't played the game yet today, so I can't tell you if the streak is extended or not, but I mean, I'm expecting it to, and I'm expecting them to lose probably in this one too. But in the first 5, I think Jonathan Cannon pitches well. He's a guy who is, I believe he's left the game with the lead like 3 of his last 4 starts, if I'm not mistaken. So I like the White Sox in the first 5 here on the money line. I think Stripling gives up a run or 2. Like I said, I think Cannon holds it down. Hey guys, I just want to give a quick reminder that new users can bet $5 at FanDuel on any of the bets in this video and win $150 in bonus bets if the bet wins. Now let's get back to the bets. Our next one, the Detroit Tigers taking on the Mariners. Kaiser Montero versus Luis Castillo. I mean, you're getting Seattle here to minus 215 on my line. It's an incredibly tough grab. So for me here, I am going to opt to go with the money line, but I'm going to preface that by saying, you know, obviously put it in a parlay, put it in some kind of parlay. If you wanted to, instead of taking the Yankees at minus 1.5, take them on the money line, pair those two together. I think it's very close to even money. So I think that's a good look. The reason I don't like the minus 1.5 here is I've gotten burned by Seattle taking the run line. I can't tell you how many times. So, I mean, I like Seattle to win. Do I think they cover the run line? Yeah, but I'm not willing to give it out because I've been burned by it so many times. So give me Seattle on the money line, pair it with somebody else, pair it with the Yankees, pair it with, you know, any of these other, pair it with the Padres. I think they get the win. I think there's a lot of good money line parlay pieces on this slate. Last one on the slate is the Philadelphia Phillies taking on the Dodgers. Christopher Sanchez versus Clayton Kershaw. I am on the Phillies money line here. So Christopher Sanchez has looked really good for this Phillies team. One of the most consistent pitchers this season. And I think he pitches well against this Dodgers team, who this watered down lineup just is not that good to me. Obviously, got to worry about Shohei. Freddie Freeman's back, so you got to worry about him. But they are going to face a lefty. Does help us a bit here. They're not as good against lefties. So I think that plays into our favor. And overall, this lineup, in my opinion, just not that great. It's obviously missing some key pieces. Clayton Kershaw on the other side, I think he struggles against Philly, honestly. This is a guy who got touched up a bit in his last start. And I don't know, for me, I hate to say it, but I feel like Kershaw's a bit past his prime, but past those years, you know, where you can really count on him. So for me here, like I said, it's really simple. It's the Phillies on the money line. I think Kershaw struggles. I think Sanchez pitches really well. Ultimately, you know, gets his team the win here. That does conclude the slate, though. If you guys do me a favor, drop a like, drop a comment. I will drop the recap for yesterday's video in the comments for this one. Before we jump off, though, I got you guys my 3 best bets. So number 1, we are going to go with the Guardians on the money line. Number 2, we're going to go with the Padres on the money line. And number 3, we're going to go with that no runs in the first inning, the Nerfy in the Tampa Bay Rays Cardinals game. As always, you can get all of my official plays at goboys.com. If you have a gambling problem, dial 100 Gambler. Thank you, guys.